26th of December 2025, Saturday, and let's just begin. Yes, I am in the middle of the screen. That is cool. Shit, center of attention. Mm. Wait, stream has not started here. Now it has started. Cool. And for the spinner, the third language on which the spinner lands on. By third, I mean we will spin this 3 times, and whatever the language is that the spinner lands on the third spin will be the language for today. Unlike yesterday we got messed up. Yesterday, the spinner landed on OCaml, and OCaml is more different than I thought. So D5 is still not completed, even though the question is easy, but yeah, the language was more difficult than the question. I will be streaming about OCaml later after the last add-on of code day. And for today, let's see what the language is. Zig on the first spin. Wait, maybe Zig might also be like too different. I don't know. Second spin, let's go. Ruby would have been cool. And now the third and the last spin and the language with which we will go forward today. And hopefully we do complete it. Lua. Okay, that is very relaxing. Lua. Lua for today. Cool, we can do Lua. The whole Vim script is in Lua. Yo, hello. Yes, I just started. Okay, so today we are going to do in Lua. Lua is simple. Lua is actually cool. We can go to day 6. Let's and yeah, text.txt. We'll print the whole thing here and part1 dot Lua. Let's do some things in Lua. Echo hello there from the file and put this into text.txt part1.lua. Let's read. How do we read? I have the key maps. They read stuff from the files. The CP key maps here boilerplates.lua. Yes, this is how we read. Uh, shit, this is Vim's way of reading from Lua. So we cannot use this in normal Lua because this here uses Vim dot function, right? But normally in Lua we have IO dot open file path and the mode in which we want to open the file. So that will be R, and I do have to revise my Lua. And there is in Lua, I think only one data structure, and that is a table. Just one data structure in Lua, and that is simply a table. Lua is mostly used for scripting. It is used in NeoVim for the configuration. NeoVim, not in Vim, but in NeoVim. Yeah, that is the biggest change in NeoVim because in normal Vim we have to use Vim script for scripting, for telling Vim how to behave. But in NeoVim we can use Lua, and Lua is a better language than Vim script. Vim script is archaic. Chicken is a language. Citron is a language. Crazy. Lua. I think you can read a little bit of this. Just, yeah, variables are defined like this, like crazy. Immutable strings like Python or multi-line strings. There is a nil type in Lua. While this condition is true, do this. And yep, we know how to define variables. Yeah, when you're learning a new language, I guess these are the basic things: how to define a variable, how to run loops, and how to get like arrays and more complicated data structures. So we know how to make variables. We can see here how to make a loop. If condition, if this thing, then this, else if this, and then this, and then else this. Local, yes, local is also one thing in Lua. In Lua, local things, if you define a variable like this, line equals something, then that variable is global. No matter where you are defining that variable. If you have the word local before the definition of the variable, then that variable will only be available in the scope in which you defined the variable. So that is a peculiarity of Lua. And then end at the end, right? If not, not is a thing in Lua. Okay, for I equals this. This is like for this loop for I from 1 to 100, and I think the range includes both ends. The range includes both ends. So we go from 1 to 100. Okay. Repeat is something until this is kind of like do while loop. And also there is one more thing. For indexing in an array in Lua, the index does not start from 0. The indexing starts from 1. That is just crazy. The indexing in Lua starts from 1. Let's write a Fibonacci function, and let's first write this using recursion. Very bad approach, and then we will use dynamic programming or like a better version of the Fibonacci function. Lua cd Lua. Let's clear and fib dot Lua, and let's go fib. And how do I say what this function needs? This function needs n function. This, how do we define a function? Just write the thing. Okay, cool. And then end again, and cool. If n equals 1, then return 1, and then we are done. That is how we write if statement. If not this, then this, end. What is the problem? Okay, because it is return otherwise fib uh, n into fib of n minus 1. End of file expected after return function. Okay, there's some problem here. Function this thing, right, like this, then this, and return this. This is kind of exactly what we have written. And by the way, this is not Fibonacci, I mixed up. This is more like factorial. Shit, end, my bad. It was end, not done. Wait, do we have a done thing? No, it is always end and not done. Okay, okay, that was the mistake. Fact and local, yes. Yes. Global variable in lowercase. And let's call this function from another file. Yo, let's go. Main.lua, and in this, how do we import? I think we use the use keyword. I have to go to my nvmrc. Require, require, require dot slash dot lua, and here print fib or factorial of 10. Lua main.lua module not found. Okay, because it is not in the search path. Because it is not in the search path. No file. Yes, these are all the things that this thing was looking at. Fib.lo. Main.lo. Let's undefined global fact. main.lua and still does not work somehow. In function require, but I think we don't even need this, but we should know how to require packages in Lua. It is not that difficult. And these are the places where the Lua engine is looking for the files. Why is it not looking in the current file? It is not looking in the current file. Here, this is how we are. We don't, I think, say Lua. Shit. Yeah, I think we don't have to say Lua. Require fib. Fib. We have fib right here. And do, let's go. It is working now. Main.lua and cool. And how do we read files? File equals io dot read, and let's say we want to read this current file that we are in, and therefore we'll say dot slash main dot lua and read this in read mode global variable, make it local, and file dot read, that is not the function, file in lua. I think the question might also be live in 2 minutes. It will be live. Okay. IO open the file in some read mode, and then if file check proceed read, and this is the way that, and yes, in Lua, yeah, so in Lua data equals file dot read file comma all if file then in this thing else print can't read file and then end, print data, and also print the factorial undefined global variable. It is in the this thing, so LSP is not able to find this function, but okay, anyways, there is this way of calling a function. Let me increase the size. By on our variable we can have the dot operator and say read and pass in. The first argument would be the object itself on which we are calling the function, and then the second would be our argument. Or we can skip this and we can say read and just given the parameter, and these two things are equivalent to each other. Either you can use a single dot or you can use colon, and colon means just calling the function like this. So yeah, this is just syntactical sugar over this thing, and I hope I'm right. No, io dot read invalid format. I think maybe that, no, that was not the error. Bad argument to one, read invalid format in Lua line 2 dot read is not the way to go. Open is the way to go. Main.lua, and yep, we do get the whole file. So that is cool. Yep, that is cool. And yeah, the question is live. Let's go. Let's go. Trash compactor. After helping elves in the kitchen, you were taking a break and helping them reenact a movie scene when you over enthusiastically jumped into the garbage chute. Okay. A brief fall later, you find yourself in a garbage smasher. Unfortunately, the door's been magnetically sealed. As you try to find a way out, you are approached by a family of cephalopods. Shit, okay, cephalopods are something, yes. They are pretty sure you can get the door open, but it will take some time. While you wait, they are curious if you can help the youngest cephalopod with her maths homework. Maths homework has a Wikipedia page, it seems. Cephalopod maths doesn't look that different from normal maths. The math worksheet, your puzzle input consists of lists of problems. Each problem has a group of numbers that need to be either added or multiplied together. However, the problems are arranged a little strangely. They seem to be presented next to each other in a very long horizontal list, for example, like this. Okay, each problem's numbers are arranged vertically. Problems numbers are arranged vertically. At the bottom of the problem is the symbol for the operation that needs to be performed. Problems are separated by a full column of spaces. By a full column of spaces, the left right alignment of numbers within each problem can be ignored. Okay, so this worksheet contains four problems. Multiply this. Yep. We get three numbers to check their work. Cephalopod students are given the grand total of adding together all of the answers to the individual problems in this. If we add all of them, we get this number. Of course, the actual homework sheet is much wider. You will need to make sure to enroll it completely so that you can read the problems clearly, solve the problem on the maths worksheet. What is the grand total found by adding together all of the answers to the individual problems? Where this is the problem. Easy enough. I think we can even do this by hand if we want to, right? That is one option we have. Here we basic text.txt, paste this thing here. And let's first of all we will have to read the file. File equals io dot open file name dot slash text dot txt dot comma open this in read mode, and then local data equals file dot or read all of it. Need check nil. Is that a requirement? If file, then this local data equals empty string, else print on read file and end here, and then print data here. Let me add a key map to execute this file. Lua and Lua part1.lua, and now if you press space lua lua, the file is executed and this is the output that we see. Okay, now we do have the data. How do we trim the data? Data dot, okay, trim is not a function. uh how to trim a string in lua? Trim s match shade s match this thing or this thing. What is this function? What does this do? This thing, this is the core of the trimming logic. This from the starting percent %s. any amount of percentage. Matches zero or more white spaces. From the starting, match all the white spaces, right? And internally in the bracket, we have anything. And what is this? This is capture group that matches any character zero or more number of times and mul zero or more number of times, but in a non-greedy way. Okay, this thing is for non-greedy. Makes sense. This is the crucial because it ensures that captures only the characters between the leading white spaces without including the trailing white spaces itself. And this thing at the end match all of the white spaces, including trailing white spaces, new lines, and everything. This matches zero or more white space characters. This handles trailing white spaces, and this thing matches the string from the end. The match function returns the captured part. Okay, that is cool. Or return this thing if empty is written. So data equals data s data match pattern will be from the start match percent s, meaning spaces, any number of spaces, then internally match any character any number of times greedily. But I think there should be a star here. Hmm. There is not. Let's see. And then any number of spaces at the end. And let's see the data now. Do we had yes, now we do not have a white space. We had like earlier we had two white spaces here. Now we only have the one which is there because of the terminal, not because of the program. That is cool. We have trimmed our string. Now what we need looking at this thing or looking at this. Um, yep. What we need now is to go line or split the whole thing on new lines. Yep, split the whole thing on new lines and then yeah, split the whole thing on new lines and then we can just match character from the last line, from the last string array thing. Okay. See if there is a built-in function. Uh, split split a string in Lua. How to split a string in Lua? We have to write a function itself result. This is a table, an empty table, escaped delimiter g sub. Or maybe we can go reading line by line. That would have been better instead of reading this whole thing. Yep, reading line by line. Reading line by line would have been cool. File lines. Uh, how to read uh, line by line in Lua. Lua lines is not file. Okay. Otherwise, if file is there, then for line in lines, this thing, what does this thing do? For line in lines, do this. Print the line and okay. I think we can just say data equals lines. This variable is not defined as a table, cannot be converted. What does this lines? Yes, okay. Method, this thing, view documentation returns a list of unknown types. If we print this, we get shit. Okay. That does make sense. For L in data, for line in data, do this, do, and then again, end. Hmm. L makes sense. Cool, cool. This is working. This is working. We are printing line by line. That is cool. And I think we only have a couple of lines. Um, I equals 0, or let's say local I equals 0, I plus equals 1, unexpected symbol, shit. Lua does not have plus plus. Okay, I equals I plus 1, and print there are, uh, can we do this? A number of lines. I think we can, and let's see, there are 5 number of lines. There is 5 lines. Okay, cool. That is, hmm, why is there like this much space in between somehow? Okay. Anyways, data has a list or table of lines. You could say it. You could call it. Yep. And let's not print the whole line. Let's we'll update L, and then we'll say print line number I, and then print L bracket 1, the first character from that line. Nil 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 nil. Dot, we get a character from a string in Lua. How do we do that? Substring using a substring thing, subster in this thing from this index to this flow sub string or just sub and 1 comma 1. Yet I exited my bad. Space Lua and nothing. Okay, first two strings literally do not have anything. That might be because of the indentation. Yes, that might be because of the indentation. So what we can do is, should we can here, instead of this, we can write a match statement, then a regular expression which will give us the first number. Let's do that. Match from the start of the line any number of strings, then inside this we have any character. How do we say except? I think to say except we have to use something like this, except all the white spaces, and match greedy. Check, my camera was not working at, okay, shit, and the screen is not stuck. That is a good thing. I think that might actually work. Let's see. Nil. Okay, we don't get anything. Yeah, ChatGPT. Lua, how to say, how to exclude characters and regex. How to exclude characters and regex. We want to exclude spaces. Okay, we use this. Okay. Yep. From the start, match anything and then greedily match anything except a new line, except white space. That also does not work because this is not able to match anything, right? And then match anything till the end. Till the end. That might work. It does not work. We do not get the number. Mm, mm, Okay, just to like explain what I'm doing here, we have for line by line basis, on a single line we have a number, then white space, a number, then white space, a number, then white space. What I want to match is I want to get this first number, and this first number might have some little indentation, some white spaces at the start, and then the number itself. So I'm trying to get that number using this regex, and this regex says look from the start for any number of white spaces, then the thing that we are looking for will come inside this parentheses, and this says look straight. I think we should use this. Look for dot means any character, look for any character or maybe digits. I think percent do look for digits, look for digits, and then look for digits, but do not include, this means do not include white spaces. And then after finding the first number, look for any character any number of times till the end. Let's go, let's go. Okay. This thing was nil because this probably had this star here, and this is saying that the first line we have 36 as the first number, which is correct, and the second line ends here, and we have 11. Do we have 11? We do have 11. Then we have 64, then 11 again, then we have 64, then we have 11. We should have had 114, but we have 11 here somehow. This is matching only two characters. This is matching only two characters. Why did we not have 104? Match. Wait, we can like literally remove this because here we are saying match a digit. Yes, let's go. 114. This is regex at work. From the start, look for any number of white spaces. And I think regex, I'm giving time to regex because I think this is how we will be splitting the whole string. Yep, right. Yeah. Look for white spaces at the start. Do this. Cool, cool. So now what we want to make lists. We want to make a table where final data is a table in Lua, and table, in each table, how do we this is how we index. We also need the index here equals 0 till or 2 number. There was a way to go through a range like this. Okay, for this thing equals this thing, right? Or this L equals 1, because then we can get L as the index, not 1 1, yeah, because In Lua, indexing does not start from 0. Indexing starts from 1. Yes. And data dot length size dot to get size of a table in Lua. How to get size of a table in Lua? Let's see. Print size shit hashtag, that is crazy. Yes, data at this point has all of our 4 lines as strings, and this is crazy. To get the length of data, this table, data is a table. To get size of this table, we have to use hashtag before that. That is crazy. Data L and final data. Let's see if this is working. This is not working because attempt to length of a function where local data. Do card some Fred some attempt to get length of a function value. Function value. Files.line does give us a function value. I think instead of this, let's say how to add data to Lua tables. Dot insert for line in file lines do data dot insert line, and this should, what, it does not. Insert, what is the column? Attempt to call a nil value field insert. Insert does not exist. Still does not exist. Field insert does not exist. Why? Wow. Dot insert my list. Table dot insert. Okay, literally we have to use the value table. Okay, table dot insert, and we have to say where do we want to insert. We want to insert in data, and it is working out. That is cool. We have 36. Why is it 6y? Okay, first one is empty because of this. Now it is cool. Okay, there are 5 of lines. Okay, okay, this is working. Data is a table of strings, and here we will check if L is smaller than data, then do something and then end. Okay. Yeah, if L is smaller than the size of the data, that means we are not at the last line, and therefore we have a number at our hands or at our tips or wherever. But if that is not the case, then else else we have a symbol, and let's literally, well, we'll print the line number in every case, but here in this case we have our row of symbols in which say data L dot match regex from the start. Look for any number of spaces any number of times, then look for any character any number of times except spaces, and then look for any character any number of times till the end. And hopefully that should not have worked. Right. Shit, okay. Yes, put this here. Shit, our symbols are only one character, so we don't actually have to do this. Yes. Yo, we get the plus symbol, which is cool, which is actually, I think, shit, the first operator in the input. Yes, plus is the first operator in the input. Now, beginning towards the actual question solving part, what we have now is in this data, I will remove the mouse. In this data variable, we have a table. Table is a Lua thing. Table is the only data structure in Lua. In this table, we have strings for each row. What we want is we want to remove all of the spaces, and if the if the current string is representing a row of numbers, then we want to split at each white spaces wherever there are white spaces, and then convert that into number and put them into another table. But if we are currently at the row which has all the symbols, then we need to keep them as string and put them somewhere. Final data is a table of tables, if that makes sense. Yep, this is going to be a table of tables, and yep, line number this. And let's insert empty table final date or table dot insert into final data in empty table, right? And this condition is checking if we are at a number line, which means we are at a line or row which has numbers. Then we will loop through the string. How do we split the string? We need some splitting function, and not just at one occurrence of a space, but at any amount of occurrence of spaces. Can we use a match statement to match multiple patterns in Lua? Multiple substrings in Lua. While Lua's match function is designed to find the first occurrence of a single pattern and return captured substring, you can achieve the effect using Gmatch global match. Shit, that is Vim. Literally, that is Vim. G means for the whole line also in Vim. Iterating with Gmatch recommended finding all occurrences. String.gmatch is specifically designed to iterate over all occurrences of a pattern in a string. It returns an iterator function that you can use for a for loop. String.gmatch in this string, look for this pattern, look for sample, sample, and then print found match. That is literally what we need. That is literally what we need. Ah, sorry, my bad. D5 OCaml is a bit difficult. It is a bit more different than normal languages, and I removed it from the spinner, and not yet. I will do D5 after learning a bit more of OCaml, and let's use Gmatch, our pattern. We need a pattern, and yep, for this thing in string.gmatch, first thing is the text, then the pattern. OCaml is difficult. It is a bit different. We'll do that after AOC day 12 because I cannot do it in any other language. The wheel said that I must do it in OCaml. And right now, I do not have the time to learn a new language. Okay, for num in string.g match our string is data L and the pattern is digits, literally. For this, do this and then end. And this is going to be number, which we can say table dot. Okay, we also need to, yes, okay, yeah. This table final data -1 insert into this thing to number convert num. Let's go, and if we are here for symbol in string dot g match, and the text on which we are matching is this, and here match anything, anything, literally anything except a new line. Hmm. Anything except a new line. Is that a right? Is that the right thing to say to someone? Match for anything except a new line. No, that is not the right thing to say to someone. Yes. Match. Yep, like this. And then this. Yep. What does this mean? For this, do this. And end. Table dot insert final data -1 and just add the symbol. This thing means this, the rectangular brackets mean anything except space any number of times, one or multiple number of times, then a singular symbol, then space any number of times. So I think that should work. Now we have a two-dimensional table in our table. Let's say row in final data do end. So we will go row by row, and for each row, let's go through, and for each row, let's just print the first number, first thing, which is index 0. Line number 1. We got error after printing that. Gotten, wait, huh? Shit, okay, this was on line number 20. This thing, they got nil. Get the last element in a table in Lua. How do we get the last element in a table in Lua? Lua, let's go. I should write that in here. Wait, shit. Um, Stream settings. Question mark, question mark. Lua, let's go. Yep. Lua. I did part one, but struggled a lot in reading and storing the input. Shit. In CPP, I suppose. Give short summary of what you're doing. We are doing advent of code here, and for each day we are using a different language. But yesterday we got hit in the back, and yeah, messy things happened. We spin this wheel, and yesterday this wheel landed on O camel, which was more difficult than I anticipated. My bad. I got the logic to do it, but had to got for the correctly storing them. Hmm. Try COBOL. I saw someone that is the hardest language. COBOL is supposed to be like English, I think. Yes. Chat GPT. Chat GPT. Yeah, COBOL is like English, uh, and this thing is saying, okay, I got a little bit disoriented. Okay, how do we get the last element? Shit, that is crazy. That is crazy. Yes, that is one way to get the last element. Hash final data. And if this symbol hash, okay, Lua has only a single data type. Just to say it again, Lua has a single data type and it is called a table. And to get the size of a table, we use hash before it. The same way here, we are using a hash. That is great. Hash final data. Let's not go. Okay, we got messed up in line 29, which is this. Wait, 29 does not even make sense. How can we get error in this thing? Attempted to call a table value for it. Huh. Okay, let's go by index. Then for row, for row equals 1 till size of final data do print final data row and end. And here print the first thing. Let's say, let's go. Let's go. And these are the things that we have to evaluate. Okay, cool. Let's say response is 0. Response is a local variable, and for each row, let's go. Shit, nope. This will not be. First, we have to iterate through each column instead of iterating through each row. Yep. Yes, column by column. For column equals 1, size of final data 1, let's say, do something and end. So we are going through column by column, and for row equals 1, final data do something, and then end. Current answer would be 0. Shit. Depending. Yep, shit. We cannot use the 0 because we want 0 if the operator is plus, so that we can just add to the current. But if the operator is multiplication, then we do not want to add to the current. In which case, shit, we don't even know. Yeah, we have to start from the end for, let's say, I equals final data. Yep. Or no, no, no. We are in a particular column. Yes, we and the operators that we have in this are plus and multiplication. Those are the only two operators, and there are no like no illusion thing like spot the minus symbol in here. Nothing like that. So that is cool. Okay, we are going column by column. We can say current equals final data. In this column, the no column will come later. First will come the row. In the first row, this thing, first thing is this, right? And yeah, for I, yep, for I equals 2, we'll start from the second row till final data minus 1, do something, and then end. Empty block, let's make it non-empty, and if final data bracket um the final row, from the final row, in the final row for this column, if this thing equals a plus sign, then do something else, do something else, and then end. Right. If plus, then current plus current equals current plus final data I in this column global else multiply current, and I think that is cool. Yep, starting from the second row, going till the second last row, because the last row is just the symbols. Res equals res plus current, and redefinition of I, who is defined. That is fine. That is fine. No problem. Shit. Can we? Okay. Shit. Wait. Huh? I can. Fine. Can we say this? No, we cannot. That is fine. That's fine. Yep. Answer is this one. Let's go. Shit. That is the answer, as it turns out. Maybe. I don't know. Let's use this for the example. This one and match. Shit. Okay. Um, Data equals a table of strings like this. And now we are going to use some Vim magic. It is called macro, Vim macros. Start recording a macro, QA, right here, recording in register number A. Go to the start of the line, put this, go to the normal mode, go to the end of the line, minus, or like subtract. Shit, I messed up. I messed up. My bad. Q. Is this? Yeah, that new line is not always there. Okay, cool. Yeah, now we'll start recording the macro in register number A. Macro is being recorded in register number A, and macro is just a sequence of instructions which we can replay again and again. Go to the start of the line, put double quote, go to normal mode, go to the end of the line, double quotes, comma, normal mode, go to the next line, and quit recording. Now we can just repeat this macro 3 times. I think 3 times is cool. Yeah, because we have 3 lines which we have to fix. So 3 times, run the macro. Let's go. The whole thing is formatted. Cool. And I think, let's say, answer here turns out to be 6, 7, and that is not the right answer. That's actually not the right answer. Let's here print current 33210 33210 490 was not 490, 42 and 401. Okay, so I think this is like always multiplying them. Let's see. Yep. Let's say print final data for the last line for this column so that we see the symbol. And yeah, we are not parsing the thing correctly. We are not parsing the thing properly. Uh, Take two variables, product and sum, then do this. Yo, wait, logic is right. Logic seems to be right. Here, current is always a number, the first number, and then we are going through the second number. Like here, no matter what, if it is multiply, our initial value is current. Then we are going through the second number till the second last number. And if the symbol is multiply, then we multiply. And if the symbol is plus, then we plus to the original current. The logic is correct, but the problem is the regex. This regex is not matching. This regex is not matching. Shit, I am stupid. Shit, of course this will. Okay, okay. Uh, we have to remove this. I think now we might be okay. I guess not. 4 to. Uh, at least we are getting the symbols correctly. That is cool. We are getting the symbols correctly. Hmm. I think we cannot use the comparator operator here. How to compare two strings in Lua equality? Yeah, we can use the comparator operator. My bad. Final data, okay, if it is plus, then plus, otherwise multiply. But we are somehow always multiplying. This condition is always turning out to be false. I look at this. Whenever we, so this for multiplication, we are getting the correct answer 33210, 33210. But also, for plus also we are multiplying, which is not very good. Wait, here we did not multiply, here we did add 401. So why were we not able to see this one? Shit, okay, this was actually correct. The first one was actually the correct one. Outside, you can have spaces, but plus, minus, plus, multiply. Now we are good. I think, yes, now we are good. Now we are good. The problem was the regex. Yep, the problem was the regex. And now we can remove this, find the actual answer, which turns out to be this big number. Copy, paste. Okay, 6725210632910 and that is the correct answer. Let's go. Part one do, part one done. And leaderboard, I'm like not at the top. That is very sad. Shit, I am at the top. I didn't do yesterday's question, but I guess I'm the first one today in the leaderboard. Shit, you can also join the leaderboard. I should think it is in the Discord. This guy made the leaderboard, Darsh Parik. And the big cephalopods came back to check on how things are going when they see that your grand total doesn't match the one they expected by the worksheet. They realize they forgot to explain how to read cephalopod math. Share. Cephalopod math is written right to left in columns. Each number is given in its own column with the most significant digit at the top. Okay, so that is crazy. And the least significant digit at the bottom. Problems are still separated with a column consisting only of spaces, and the symbol at the bottom of the problem is still the operator to use. Here's the example in the worksheet again, reading the problem right to left, right to left. The problems are now quite different. 4 plus 431. But why are we adding 4? 4. Cephalopod math is written right to left in columns. Right to left. Right to left. right to left in columns. Each number is given in its own column with the most significant digit at the top and the least significant digit at the bottom. Most significant digit at the top and the least one at the bottom. 4 plus 431 plus for this plus 431 32 is used here and 64. Where is 64? 64 is gone. Each number is given in its own column. Each number is given in its own column, the most significant digit at the top and the least significant digit at the bottom. The most significant digit at the top in each column. 623, 623, 623, 431, and 4. Shade 6, 2, 3, 4, 3, 1, and 4. That is crazy. 3, 2. Yes. 3, 2 multiplied by 5, 8, 1 multiplied by 175. 175. Okay. Shared. Okay, that is how we have to do. 369, 920, 948, and 800 or 8, 8. Shit, we will not use this as 800, we will use this as 8. Okay, cool enough. Yes. We already have a method for getting a symbol and then the three numbers. We can work around a logic there. Part 2 is literally crazy. I guess you are at the top because you have done previous years as well. No, this is just for the current year. Number column wise. Yes, that is crazy. So for the last one, we have, yes, column wise. Yo, each column, top to bottom. This is like Japanese anime stuff. Hmm. And okay, we need to get each number, and the number of numbers depends on the number of digits in the numbers. Yep, yep. Cool enough. Copy part 2 dot lua paste here. Okay. All of our change has to be in this part. We are at a particular column. Yep, we are at a particular column, and we do have a way to get all of these numbers. We need to go while we have numbers. We have 123, 4, 45, and 6. We'll go through each number. We will take the first digit right. Then we'll take the second digit right. And I need to know something. Lua. Let's say I have a string where I have these things and wait, string dot sub in this string 1 2 3 4 Right, that is how we do the sub thing, I think. And wait, no, we call this on the string itself. This dot sub from 5 to 5. 5 is not even there. So expected, unexpected symbol near this thing. Let's declare a local variable then. Local s equals 4. Okay, s dot sub 1 comma 1. We don't see anything. Attempt print s dot sub 1 comma 1. Nothing. Okay, my bad. Or we can write a simple Lua program to do this. Shade. Okay. Yes, I get the problem. Lua 1 2 3 4 dot s equals 1 2 3 4. Right. S dot sub 1 to 1. We get 1. Cool. But if we go outside the range, we get nothing. And if we check if this thing equals false, false. But if this thing equals nil, nil, false. This thing is not equal to nil. Is this thing equal to empty string? True. Okay. R2 dot Lua. Hmm. Like this. Um, Not changing this thing to a number is cool. Yeah, we can keep them as strings. And let's actually make a new nums table. And we will store them in here for I equals 1 from the first row till as final data minus 1 do uh, table dot insert in nums insert final data for ith row and this column. Cur does not exist, which is okay. Yep. So we have the numbers now in a singular table, right? We have the numbers in a singular table. Yep. Let's get the first number and the second number, the last number. Okay. Local char and if final data, the last row for this column, if this thing equals to a plus, then current is 0, else current is 1, and then end. Unused local variable. We have the current value. Now we will go number by number. Current num equals 0, right? And yep. While is there a while? While true. While true, do something and then end. Right. While true, we will go through all of the numbers in nums. Yep. Yep. Nums. Yep. For in for s in nums do something, and then for s in nums, s is the literally the current string, but let's use index instead of let's say comma size of nums for all of the numbers. Yep. Yep. For all of the numbers, if let's get the current character would be nums sub 1 comma 1. Now if c not equal to empty string, if c does mean something, right? What would something like? Yes. Shit. This is 8 and this is 4. So it would be cool if we can sort nums. Shit. Nah, one second. My bad. Each column top to bottom. Shit. A place has been taken. I'll be right back there. Don't worry. Lua should use this. Shit. I cannot make a tilde. That is something. Yes, I can make a tilde. This, do this, and end. Hmm. We need to sort the numbers. Order does matter, by the way. Yes, order does matter. 532. Wait, huh? 581. 175. Cool. Wait, we are getting numbers from the last? Huh? Then 32. Okay, this thing does not make sense. This thing actually does not make sense. Why do we have 32 here? And shit. Okay, the way that they have been written matters. I cannot just. Oh, shit. Okay. Shit. Okay. This would be 356, then 24, and then 1. Shit. Okay. 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 And here, this is 8 and not 8, 48, because there are no numbers below this. Okay. Shit. So we cannot just. We have to change our regular expression in that case. Hmm. Hmm. Match for everything that is a digit. Nope. Nope. Do not do that. We already have removed all of the white spaces. 3 characters, then nothing, then 3 characters, then space, then 3 characters if that is the thing. Wait, they do say that the problems are still separated with a column consisting only of spaces, and the symbols at the bottom of the problem is still the operator to use. Yeah, there could be 4, so not 3. Hmm. Look at this. We have to identify columns. Lua. This would have been easier in C++. if we can read each column of each string, then it would be easy. Spaces matter as well. Yes. Now that is crazy. Now we have four. Yep. We need to store by ignoring only spaces instead of all spaces. Ignoring only one space instead of, yep, all the space. But what is going to be that one space? I think that will depend on the symbol. Yep, we will have to look at the symbol. If the symbol has like three spaces in the middle, then the column above it is going to have three spaces. Is each number is going to take three spaces, and here also three, and here it is two. One for the symbol itself and two for the rest. Hmm. This is parsing. This is parsing. Yep, I think that is the only identifier. This last row is the only identifier, because yes, that is the only identifier which will let us know how many spaces are there in our current column. We can add a like little edge case logic for the last column. Here puzzle input. Yep. Here, depending on how many spaces there are, we will know how. Look at this. This second symbol is taking two spaces and two cells to represent itself, and then a white space column. So the number in this row, in this column, should also take two spaces only, and they do. This one 9 only takes two spaces. Then in the second row 32, two-digit number. Then in the third row 52, also a two-digit number. And then in the fourth row, this is the fourth row, 76, that is also a two-digit number. And then again two-digit number. This was a three-digit number. Okay, so we'll have to look at this to identify like how many digits a particular number is in. Yeah, and holidays problem. The main problem is how to parse properly. As listed in part 1 as well, the code logic is to parse properly, as suggested in part 1 as well, the code logic is simple. Yeah, the parsing is more difficult. The logic is simple. Okay, my laptop is going to burst open. We will have to parse character by yep. Okay, final data. We have to change the parsing. We have to change the parsing, and we won't go in the last line. Cool. We will not go in the last line. And for the last line, actually, we will store all the symbols separately. Let's say, yep. Symbols is also a table, and for sim in string dot g match, and the string is data comma hash data, the last row in the data, and match for match for plus and multiply. Yep, this and this, do this, and then end, and table dot insert into symbols, this current symbol, Remove all of this logic. Cool. Table dot insert. Yes, insert a new table. Don't go to the last one. And yep, yep. Here, if we are not at the last column, how do we see? If we are not at the last column, we literally cannot see if we are at the last column or not. No, can we see? We are at a string right now. We have the symbols here, and let's have sizes equals some empty thing, and here we will have the sizes. Yep. Yes, that makes sense. That makes sense. Here we will have the sizes, and for sim or spaces and string dot g match, and the string in which we are matching for is the last string in the data, which has all the symbols, and the string that we are matching for is any number of spaces, %s, any number of spaces. Do this and sizes or table dot insert into sizes to number the size of a string, to the say string and lua dot length spaces length, which already is a number, so we don't have to explicitly convert. And for the last one, spaces hashtag spaces equals spaces hash spaces plus one. Sizes, my bad. Substitute spaces with sizes globally. Cool. We have the sizes, and we'll go size by size. Insert a new table, and yeah, insert a new table. Cool. And int I, not int I equals 1, the current index. Local I equals 1, and we'll run a loop while I is smaller than the size of data, um, L, size of data L, or data L is a string. Yeah, dot do, and then end, and we'll say table dot insert hello. We bro wants to learn DP, I guess. Hello. Uh, for DP, what can you do? There is CLRS, and there is, yes, CLRS is cool. And Eric To's lectures. Yes, you can watch Eric To's videos, and they are amazing. There are 3 videos by Eric To, and they are cool for DP. They are actually pretty cool videos. Table dot insert into table, and the table in which we want to insert is a data table. Final data, insert into this thing, data l dot sub, or this thing sub sub sub, and index is starting from I comma I plus spaces size size. How do we get the size? That is a nice thing. Local current equals 1. Huh. Yep. Sizes and current, and then equals, before incrementing current by 1, we will also say I equals I plus current, I plus sizes current. 1 plus 3 is 4. Yes. So we will have to do plus 1. 1 plus 3 is 4. 4 is not the right place to be. Plus 1 is the right place to be. All right. While smaller than, or maybe even equal to. Yeah. Yeah, that will work. That will work. Should work. Or wait, share. Yes, yes, yes. Here, instead of matching only for spaces, we can actually match for plus, multiply, and like a singular plus or a singular multiply, and then number of spaces. Yes, this will match till the next space. So here we'll do length minus 1, length minus 1, and for the last one we will do plus 1. Okay, okay. Let's print final data. We can remove all of this logic. I think we are doing good. I hope. Current plus I. Let's print the first thing in every row for I equals 1 till size of final data, and do print final data I 1, the first thing, and then end. Error, line 27, which is this one. Attempt to perform arithmetic on a nil value. Who is performing arithmetic? I is this thing. Might be a nil value. Current sizes current. Okay, so you are saying sizes is a nil value. Current might be getting too big. Current is getting too big. Wait, that, oh, yes, makes sense. Current equals, wait, what? We are only incrementing current by one. So, uh, how can current? Oh, yes, okay, current is only getting incremented by one. But after 1,000, we are still going forward with current. Let's see, I or science is current. Cool. For the last one, we say 2, which I don't know. Yes, 2 actually is correct. 2 actually is correct. But what is the value of I at the same time? For that to also print the I also. Is I not big enough? Length L, data L, length of this is string, length of this is string. Even if I is equal to this is string, we can say current, while current is smaller than size. uh Size is, yep, no error. Cool. But we are printing nil, and here we had 36. 36 is good. 36 is good. And we also have the space before 36. That is also cool. But we are seeing nil for the other values somehow. Hmm. Hmm. Because we are not updating current. Yo, let's go. 114, and yes, we do have the spaces. That is very cool. Okay, we do have the spaces. Now the same logic, we will go row by row and the number of rows, right? We will go, let's say, symbol by symbol. For I equals 1, I um, till size of sims do something, and then end, and here we'll go row by row. So for row, for the current row, yep, for uh, for the current row equals 1, and the total number of rows would be size of literally final data, size of final data. Yes, do something, and then end at the end, and before that, yep, cool. Okay, so we are at a I, let's call this J, makes more sense. We have I and we also have J. We are at a particular character. We are at a particular character. Cool. And here, okay, we are at a particular thing, right? We are going through this, but we will have to go through them. Yeah, we'll have to go through them spaces number of times. Yep, we'll have to go through them spaces number of times. That makes sense. Local current, and if sims I equals plus, then current equals 0, else current equals 1, and then end. Right. We have a current value. That is cool. And now we'll go number by number, but how many times do we have to go through this whole thing? We'll have to go for something equals 1. We don't actually need this. Or let's say while is a loop we can use for spaces, sizes, for the ith size, while this thing is greater than 0, do something, and then end, and then sizes I equal sizes I minus 1. Right, we are at a particular thing, and at the end of this loop we will get a number. Yeah. Num equals local num equals 0 to get this number. Shit. We also have to see, we also have to know. Wait, this is cool. This is cool. 8, and if there is a thing here, then we will multiply the original number by 10 and add the current thing. But if nothing, then nothing. And the same. Yeah, cool. Okay. And we'll go space by space. We are currently at a particular string. Okay. If final data I j dot sub 1 comma 1. Yep, if this thing equals a space, or not equal to a space, then if this thing is not equal to a space, then num equals num into 10 plus to number, convert final data I j sub 1 comma 1. That is cool. And after this, final data I j, remove this first character from a string. Sub, remove from, yeah. Okay. They don't know about sub. First character from a string in wow. How do we do that? What happened with OCaml? Shit. Did you learn it or just left it as yeah, left it as is for now? Because right now I also have my exams, and yes, I will do that question in OCaml, not in any other language. So that question is still like undone, not completed. And after Advent of Code is completed after 12th of December, I'll do some OCaml streams where, yeah, OCaml does need time. You are right. OCaml does need time. So I'll do some Advent of Code, some OCaml streams after this, and we'll get to know OCaml. And then we'll do day 5. is the original string, j starting index is the end of shit, or it starts from 2. Yes, yes, literally. Yeah, cool. I think that is good. And at the end here we'll have a number, and if since on equals plus, then current equal current plus num, right? Shit. What if there is no number? We cannot just multiply by 0. Yeah. Shit. So this thing also has to be conditional, depending on the symbol. But instead of current, substitute current with num. Yeah, 12 paste. Let's go. And instead of num, if the symbol is plus, then we can just do current equal current plus num. Current equals num, and at the end we do have the current value. Res is not defined. Print res. This might be messed up. This might not work. And Haskell is easier to start with due to less moving parts and more documentation. Uh-huh. It will teach you about functional programming, how to think, and how are things done, etc. OCaml has a lot of moving parts like OPAM, UTOP, OPAM package manager, UTOM switches. Yes, switches was some term also there yesterday. Different OCaml REPL compiler existing at the same time, etc. It is good when you need it, but the curve gets kind of higher with these. Okay. So OCaml is kind of like JavaScript in that sense, I guess. Haskell is easier. Okay, that is cool. But the wheel landed on OCaml. We will have to do OCaml. And here, answer is, and I think this will just break. Yes. Nil value at line 48. If final, this thing nil value is not equal to, wait, ij is a nil value. This thing is a nil value. This this thing is a nil value because now it is still a nil value. Line 48, line 48, not this one. Yeah. If why is this a nil value? Why is this a nil value? I This is a nil value. Yep. Yes. Lua on line 48. This thing is still a nil value. This should not be the case. This should not be a nil value. Yep. Should not be any value. Should not be any value. Num equals num into 10. Final data should not be any value. Haskell is not easier per se. It is just more better documented. Yeah. Clarity of thoughts, I guess. Shit, okay. Oh, you said other things also. Then how are first learning Haskell? Because that is make vocabulary easier. Okay. I do not need that much overhead. And yeah, I do not need that much overhead. I just want to like get some idea, skimming, right? Some idea of the thing and get the question completed, but also have some little experience. Hmm. Final data, j equals 0 goes till final data. How is this a nil value? What is the error specifically? Attempted to index a nil value. So j does not exist. J does not final data. J final data. Wait, J must exist because here we are going from the start till the size of the J. So J is not a problem, but or maybe data file J is not getting filled up. Let's for I equals 1 uh, till final data do for J equals 1 final data I do print final data I j think end print final data I j end right. These are getting printed. So okay, we did run into a problem. Was 39 the last number to be ever to ever exist? Yes, 39 was the last number, so we are getting the numbers. We are getting the numbers. Okay. So final data is not like empty at points in the middle. Maybe. When is this happening? Okay, this is happening in the first loop itself. Sizes are print sizes I 3 3 3 means 3 is like actually correct because the first number is going to take 3 spaces, so that is cool, but we are not going through this loop the second time. Shade, that is very stupid. This you know, the final data itself becomes equal to a single string. That is stupid. Let's go. Where do we do print? Here we do print. Answer turns out to be this. And okay, answer turns out to be that number. And let's change the data. Let's say data equals a test data here. This whole thing. Paste and vim macro. Run this 4 times. Cool. Shit, this thing also has spaces. Yes. Data parsing. We also changed the way that we are parsing the data. Yep, there are spaces here, and the spaces are necessary. Cool. Okay. 24706. That is not the right answer. Let's print current and here number 11, 124, 1356 does not even make sense. Okay, yeah. Wait, 431, that is correct, I think. 431, 623, 623, that is cool. We are messing up somewhere. And just a minute, I will be right back in 1 minute. I have to go to the washroom. Yep, 1 minute. I am back. That is cool, I guess. Let's get this done. 431. So for some numbers, we are getting the right number, but for others, 8 was cool. And we got 248. With 8, we got 248 and 369. That is also cool. But here we got 11 somehow. The first one, we got 11. And then 124. And then 1356. Hmm. Which is not correct. Shit, it is because of this one here. Okay. Wait. Yeah, okay, shit. Yep. Okay. Okay. And not multiplying. Yep. We cannot just multiply here. We have to do some checking. Uh, else, if if number is greater than 0, then just multiply the number. Otherwise, keep current as it is. Yep. But we might like actually have 0 there. By the way, yes, yes. Uh, wait, he did. Wait, I think he didn't won the whole thing. I think there is also the last match. He won his own lineup. Actually, draw. There, there were like two groups or four groups, I think. Four groups with six people each. Six people each in all of the groups. In this one, Samay Rana was there in this one, and there was a like a round robin. Every person would play every other person twice, with once with white and once with black. Samay Rana won this one, and Antria Boat is won hers, and here Samay Rana won this one, and yep. Now there will be a final game which will decide, or maybe he won the whole thing. I don't know. Okay. Answer turns out to be 326,827, but this might mess up the right answer. What if we actually have a 0 there? Local, present equals false, and if this thing then present equals true, else if this or present. Yeah. Now we are good to go. And shit, I will be at the top again. I will be at the top again. Hello, tell me 15 interesting facts. Huh, camera is fine. What camera do you have? Shit, since I somehow have a Mac, I can connect my camera and my phone. So that is cool. He won. I don't know. He had Surpogchem writer under his name. Writer. Huh. So that is crazy. And runner-up was top seed, which he beat in round robin as well. But fine, shared. That is great. He did. Okay, what I do know as almost as a fact is he had to beat Andrea Botes, and then there was going to be another match. So I think both of the matches have like taken place, and if that is, then he won. He like actually won. That is cool. Okay, the final answer. Wait, is that correct? 827? 827, cool. That is the final answer. Okay, let's go. That is the correct answer. We got the golden star. Let's go. And the leaderboard. Let's see. Wait, my camera. Okay, it is working. That is cool. Yeah, even I just checked. Bro, just checked. It happened at night, so you don't know, I guess. Share. Okay, it happened at night. Yo, shit, you are at the top. Wait, you haven't done part two of this. Ha. Okay, but shit, still you are at the top. That is crazy. I haven't done this one. Dorsporik, let's go. He did the first part. He's also doing the second part now. I didn't do this. This needs O camel. Unfortunately, this needs O camel. Let's get a PR now, not PR. Just commit. Git reset day 5. Git stay. Git add day 6 folder with status. Wait, why do I have that strange file? What is this file? What is this? Delete this. Day 6. Yep, yeah. Git commit m. Wait, what have been the git messages till now? Git log. Last two commits. Did day this and this. Okay. 6 and Lua. 25. Um, GitHub add of code. Let's go. Lua shit, that is very cool. GitHub just calculated that we are using Lua here. That's cool. And he was completely losing in most of the matches. Shared blunders because I cannot. You have not done. It does not mean you cannot. I think I need to chat GPT for correct logic of parsing. I tried, but it is not working. Okay, don't do chat GPT. What you need? Shit, I think you did know how to do this. My bad. Hint. Look at this. Uh, so these, like, yeah, you also said that there are numbers who are 4 digits in size. So what you need to know is what is the width of each column. You can see the width by looking at the last line. In the last line where we have the symbol, we have first the symbol, then a bunch of spaces, and then the last space is the space for the end of the column. So you can use this last row of symbols to determine the size or the width of each column, and then parse, and then store that somewhere. And then when you're going through columns, each string like this, you can just look at, give me the first 3 characters from this string, and then increment your like starting point, and then say give me the next three characters starting from this point, and then starting from this point give me the next 3 characters. Or I hope I make sense. Yep, this one was good. Some. And now we can remove Lua from this thing. Language spinner and Lua. Yep, Lua is gone. Now we have all these languages, and shit, C++ is still there. And I hope that on day 12 I get C++. That would be cool. Just for the fun, let's spin Python. Shit, here I don't know Zig, I don't know Swift, I don't know Ruby, kind of know Rust, kind of know Python, C++. I kind of know C++. I would try to read the last line and get the width by the number of spaces. Shit. Between them, and then the size. Hello. Them and the size, the column according to the width. So what messed up? That is like exactly what you have to do. But I don't know, it is not working. Something is off. Shit. Something is off. Bro is sniffing something in the air. Yep, after so many days. And is about the status. Where were you? Streak gone? Like, yes. I think I took a little bit of rest. And after Advent of Code is done, like after these streams for Advent of Code are done, I need projects. Like I need to make legit big workable projects. And there is this guy. Shit, I forgot the name of his website. He has made a website where you can go and legit watch any anime if you want to. Whatever anime you want to, you can watch anime. Shit, how can I forget his name? The name of the website. Wait, let me hide my screen and go to my Discord and find the name. Just 1 second. There is this guy in my college who has made a anime website, like legit, and he has made a front end. And for the back end, for he's using some APIs through which he's fetching episodes, videos, and then playing them on a player. But that is like very cool. That is very cool. Let me just find the website, and I hope you cannot see my screen because yes, that would be very bad. Yep, my screen is not visible. That is cool. Just 1 second. Let me find the website. Yep, there we go. Yep, I have the website. Any anime I'm watching currently? No, nope, not any anime. But Gintama is one of the best, like ever. You can look up any anime, Gintama. Let's go, Gintama. Look at this. His name is Dave, and he made this website, and that is cool. You can look up the episodes here, and this will like legit play. This will play. And there are different sections. That is very cool. I want to have something like this. And I guess I will make a chess website. Look at this. Gintama, Gintoki. Let's go. Yeah. So yeah, we need projects. And then il shit. Shit, I guess I should not have shown it on this stream. Wait, no. I think I am not in trouble. I am not in trouble. Even after showing this on the stream, I can just say that this is my friend's project. My friend is also not in trouble because he can say someone hacked his GitHub and put the website there. Yeah, we are clean. We are clean. No one can. Yeah, we are clean. Yep. Yep. This was cool. Yep. And yeah, after add-on of code, we will be making chess. And like full, I want to make this full legit website, like chess.com with a back end and a front end and everything. And then there's also the fact that I could be making, why am I making something which is very common? Right. Chess is not a new thing, literally thousands of years old. So why am I making a chess website? And then I would say, I don't know how to make a chess website, so I'm making a chess website. Yeah. And that would be actually it for today. There doesn't seem to be anything else. Yep. Bye. And that would be it for today's stream. And thank you for being here. Bye.